Today I want to talk about something absolutely disgraceful, something that should outrage every decent person in this country. It's about how Britain's war veterans were hunted, humiliated and psychologically destroyed, and how the man now sitting in number 10 played a central role in making it happen. Keir Starmer, not Putin, not some foreign enemy, our own Prime Minister. Let me start with Rachel Webster, a woman who gave 24 years of her life to this country, 4 tours of Iraq and Afghanistan, a former army captain, a former Royal Military Police officer, a woman who served with honour. And what did she get in return? In 2014, she was dragged out of her home by investigators, treated like a criminal, interrogated, humiliated for 2 years.
At 6 o'clock in the morning on the 10th of January 2014, I was woken up by a knock on the front door. I was arrested. I was forcibly taken out of my home in the Isle of Dogs in Canary Wharf, and then I was driven to an undisclosed location, which turned out to be a detention centre in Portsmouth Navy Base.
Over allegations that were eventually dropped. She drank heavily, she broke down, she considered taking her own life. In her own words, I felt betrayed. And now she knows why, because the man who helped unleash this nightmare is now the Prime Minister. Back in 2007, Keir Starmer worked on a legal case that opened the floodgates. It reshaped the law. It made British soldiers fair game for endless legal attacks. Hundreds of troops were dragged through investigations, not because there was real evidence, but because activists and lawyers saw an opportunity to make money, an opportunity to attack the British military, an opportunity to rewrite history. This was another case of lawfare, legal warfare against our own troops, against our own veterans, and Starmer helped make it possible. The main solicitor behind many of these cases, a guy called Phil Shiner, a man later exposed as a fraud. He paid intermediaries in Iraq to invent claims. He used false evidence. He lied. He was struck off. He was convicted. His cases were rotten to the core. But by then, the damage was done. Lives were destroyed. Careers ended. Families torn apart. And yet, Starmer's legal intervention helped give this whole operation credibility. Rachel Webster was not alone. Listen to these names. Robert Campbell, investigated for 18 years. 18 years over bogus claims. He returned his medals to the Queen in disgust. He said he was driven to suicide twice. Joseph McCleary, cleared in court, then investigated again and again. 12 years to clear his name. He tried to take his life 4 times. 4 times. Sgt Richie Catterall, cleared again, then dragged back into investigations for 13 years, based partly on fake documents. He ended up suicidal and mentally ill. He said, Keir Starmer owes me an apology. He's right. They all do.
How did it feel when you found out that Keir Starmer was involved in bringing a case against you?
I was gutted, because he's now the Prime Minister and he's getting troops done. He's literally going for troops that are doing the job.
Now, Dan Street says, oh, Keir Starmer was just assisting the court. He wasn't representing anyone. Typical lawyers speak that's hiding behind the technicalities. The reality is simple. He pushed for more investigations. He argued previous ones were inadequate. He helped reopen cases against men that were already cleared. He helped fuel a culture of persecution. And now he wants to pretend he had nothing to do with it. And notice something, this isn't a one-off. His government is now reopening the cases from Northern Ireland. Same pattern, same mentality. Target the soldiers, appease the activists, please the legal lobby. Isn't it all about that it's easier to attack veterans than to stand up to extremists, terrorists or hostile states? So that's what it does. Let's be clear, no one is saying war crimes should be ignored. If someone commits a crime, they should face justice. But that is not what happened here. This was recycled allegations, fabricated evidence, endless reinvestigations, political and legal harassment. This was punishment without proof, trial without end, torture by paperwork. These men and women went to war for Britain. They followed orders. They operated in hellish conditions that none of us could. They put their lives on the line, and when they came home, their own country turned on them, led in part by the man who now lectures us about decency and values. And there is the Prime Minister. It's hypocrisy of the highest order. Rachel Webster, Robert Campbell, Joseph McCleary, Richie Catterall, these are not statistics. They are human beings. They are our war veterans. They are people that served this country in difficult, hazardous conditions. They were broken by a system that Keir Starmer helped build. He owes them more than platitudes. He owes them accountability. He owes them an apology. And he owes this country the truth, because a Prime Minister who helped destroy the lives of his own veterans has no moral authority to lead. If you agree with me, share this video. Let people know what really happened. And let's make sure this betrayal is never forgotten.